Well, hey YouTube, PD2 Finger, and welcome all the old fogies and all the new suckers. I hope there's a lot of reasons for people to be freaking out. The health thing, you could die. The financial thing, people are thinking, like, if you read the Bible, there's that Revelation number 9, and it's like a bad acid trip, the end of the world with the mark of the beast. So Jade Helm, all this, like, the frogs are turning gay. It's scary, and like us, no income, or what's the insurance going to happen? I'm in a pain clinic. I haven't worked in years because I got chronic pain in my back. So I'm used to being here alone or with the cat. And he kind of doesn't really like me that much. The cat we have now, he bonded with my wife.
He's not a lap cat.
He's not a lap cat, and I like holding him and patting him. We had another cat, Augustus, who was in all my videos, and he bonded with me. He hated me at first, but Gusty, R.I.P. Gusty, he passed away. He got cancer. It was quick. We only had him for a few years. I was recording Minor Technical Difficulties, which is an album, instrumental album. So yeah, we took one of those songs just the other day, 2 days ago or yesterday, one of the songs off Minor Tech, and I went through those files, and then I muted the bass guitar and the lead guitar and printed that file. So I added that to our repertoire. So the song was called Rampant Deterrent, which is a terrible name for a song. It was kind of like a driving song. Like the video I got footage of somebody driving in the desert and sped it up. And there's horns in the like samples of horns. I had a file of a band warming up, like an orchestra tuning up, and they had like like they would do the horns, and I had that in there as the intro, and then when I played the song, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm hearing those horns. Are they in the same key? And they were. So I just moved them into the song, and like they fit perfect. It was one of those things. It was really cool because the song is in F. It's in F and A sharp you play in. And then the B part of the chorus is in C and D sharp. So it's a weird piece that relies on an open A and an open D when you kind of play it. There's like a now, and you hit that A, da 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 la la da da la la. You could do these little trills in there. My whole thing, missing these tops of these two fingers from a lawnmower. My middle name is Peter, and I was nicknamed Petey Two Finger because I played guitar for a while just as a kid, and then I had the accident, and then I realized real quickly the electric guitar was kind of out of the question. So I played the bass, and I was in a bunch of cover bands, kind of, I don't want to say unsuccessful, but we played bars, we played in 2 counties, and we played parties. But for the amount of practicing we did, we should have been writing our own material, and it would have been better if we would have had, like, I don't know. I still have a chip on my shoulder against a couple of those people of, the crack cocaine thing, missing gigs, and the alcoholism thing with the one guy falling down and throwing up on stage and stuff like that. So, kind of jinxed us. Anyway, this last week, I ran out of parts for the electronic projects. So, I'm working, playing the Court 45. This morning we just became grandparents, and our other daughter, the older one, who you may know as Shrimpy, the keyboard player, she used to sing when she was real little, And then when she was 13, we had a double album of covers. We had like five or six different, completely all new set lists for that band. So we became grandparents this week, and we're gonna be grandparents again. So different daughter. Farewell to the family band, more than likely. Which, I mean, what can I say? We'll still get together and do it. I know. Father's Day and my birthday. So, anyway, yeah, I got new material for the duo. We got one song that's kind of played with a scale that my wife never learned. I never showed her the scale. It's kind of like pulling teeth with her. With like, she gets real mad, starts yelling at me, and then all of a sudden she's playing it and doesn't say anything. Like, wow, I really overreacted again for the 226th time.
I still don't know what a scale is. I just memorized my parts.
You don't know what a scale is?
I just memorized.
That's what you play in both of those songs. And they're the same. So, yeah, this album that came out this year in February, I was sick. I had my ears plugged up from a cold or a flu, and then I had a panic attack, acute anxiety from some metformin, which is a diabetes 2 drug. I had testosterone replacement therapy, which was recommended to me because of my pain clinic, and that made me completely trip out and poop my pants and not be able to sleep for 4 months. I went through like a PCP, crack cocaine, come down, horrible nightmare trip where I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was up for 5 days of crack. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was a living hell. And then that came back from the metformin. So yeah, normally I record in like January 7th. You know, I record an album in there. I'll be ready. And I got a VG8 and a VG88 because we live in an apartment. So I'm all about like headphone amps or like playing through a small. We got a Audio BX5 monitor, and we use a couple of Zooms. Go into a little old Fostech 9-volt battery mixer, mono mixer, and then that goes into that. And we use these cab sims in the Zooms, and man, it sounds great. We turn it up, but not too loud where the neighbors are going to freak. And then the family band, we got a Fostech 16 channel with the breakout box ADAT extra 8 channel. So it's a 24 channel board with digital faders, rack mount stuff. Everyone's got stereo compression and gate outboard with 4-channel stereo headphone amp. So the one kid has a Boss GT6, the other kid plays a Yamaha, like a rave, like trip hop synthesizer. But it's got a General MIDI set on, it's normal. My wife's got a Behringer V amp for her bass, like a double rack thing we got for $30. And then I got a rack with some stuff in there. There's a Core Duo computer which runs Bias Effects, Guitar Rig 3, TH3, Amplitude. And I got a foot switch that changes patches with 3 pedal boards with 30 pedals. So that's the one indoor rig. Then there's the other one we can play through a speaker. And today, like I said earlier this week, I grabbed the song from Minor Technical Difficulties, which that was the album when the cat passed away a few years ago. That first instrumental album I did, that's on YouTube. And I grabbed the song called Rampant Deterrence, which is a terrible name. I had it felt like a driving song, like you would go way too fast if you were listening to it when you drove. So the video is somebody driving in the desert, and I went back to those files and muted the bass and the lead guitar. So now we've got that file. I put a 4 count on it, and my wife and I are playing it, a new song for the duo. And then today I was copying the technique that I did on the last album, which is 02/02/2020, and that was the date I started recording it. It's a terrible name for an album, so I usually like song names, I gotta like think, and I'll call them like Sploof or Gorg, like whatever, make up a name, look at something, you see it, White Curtain, yeah, name it that. So the names on this were a lot of Malone, Like, we used to see a guy who was, like, he was really high or something, like, wasted. We'd go, look, Stoned Malone. It's nothing to do with Post Malone. So a lot of the songs on this 0202 2020 end in Malone. And it's a long story about that Malone thing, but
Inside joke with your brother.
yeah,
When
kind
you're
of an
little.
inside joke with my brother, and then it triggered something about a drum machine, organ. It's like a rhythm ace, which is like a Wurlitzer style drum machine. And I named this file Organ Malone, and then when I saved it again, because I often save under different names, I added an E, and then I added Malone. And then all the other songs, I just kept adding Malone to another word. So that's my process. It doesn't really mean anything. And then people read into it, and I gotta go like, no, 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 it's not about Post Malone. So I was just ecstatic today. We got this new song where we kind of play a scale and then I double time. I play the scale twice as fast over while she's playing it at the normal tempo. And man, it just sounds so cool. I know it's like, can you just play a bunch of scales to a beat? And then for the lead, you also play a scale? So I'm giving away all my tone secrets. Gotta have a tube amp though, otherwise you're just some kid in your bedroom with a line 6. So anyway, that's what I've been up to, and I was just ecstatic today. I was getting silly. I was like, hey, we should try that trick that Robert Fripp and Adrian Belew do, where you both play the same thing, except I would all of a sudden stop playing the first note of it, and then the next time around play the first note but skip the second note. And the next time around, play the first and second note, but skip the third. And then the next time around, I would play all of them. And then it comes back into sync. And that's this trick that Belew said. Robert Fripp thought of it, and then they tried it. And it's like, it's the coolest sounding thing. It's so cool. Especially when it syncs back up again and they're together. Belew said that was all that Fripp wanted to do for a while. So I've got to try that trick. If you're interested in that, I think one of the songs where they do it is called Frame by Frame. And that's off of, is it Discipline album or is it Three of a Perfect Pair? Probably Three of a Perfect Pair. Or is it Discipline? I'm not sure. Anyway, how long are we in on this video? Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm glad you stuck around, because I'm going to do a second video. Part 2, check it out. Please watch part 2, because the really good thing is coming up in part 2.